What's going on, Patriots? It's CG Patriot here, and this is Awake with Reason. Today is Saturday, April 10th, 2021, and it's the day after Friday. So if you're just joining me here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. And then if you like this video, hit that like button. So I haven't been on in video format for the past couple of days because I've been gathering some information on a new topic. I've also was able to, and if you haven't seen it yet, if you've heard of the gentleman called David Weiss, he is a world-renowned flat earther, and I've been reaching out to some of these large characters that are personalities that are well versed in different topics, and seeing if they want to come on the show. So, but the good news is I was able to get David Weiss to come on the show, and he'll be on the show next Wednesday, April 14th. We'll be taping at 6 p.m. and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube around 7 or 8. And I'm going to join you in that live chat. So go ahead and check out that video I posted previously. So it'll be the last video I posted. You can see the overall idea of what we're going to be talking about. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead for David Weiss. You can go ahead and put them in the comments below on that video. And the video is called "Do We Live on a Ball?" Okay. So I wanted to get into some quick stuff with you, and we'll start with some local news and then some non-local news. But what we're going to be going over today, particularly, is a little thing called nervous system manipulation. So I know in a previous video I had mentioned that, I'm not sure which one it was, but I mentioned that I wanted to find out what is going on. Like, literally, there's MK Ultra, and then there's something above that, because of, the majority of my friends are completely brainwashed. So while looking into that, I actually saw that I posted something way back in July on Facebook. And again, I don't use Facebook at all anymore. I was using it back then, but I posted something on it, and it was a patent, and that US patent is actually specific to nervous system manipulation, and it gets really, really, really deep and dark. If let's just say the guy that has all these patents he states he's not nefarious, but I'll let you be the judge. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's get into some more world news, I guess you would say. So Prince Philip yesterday passed away, and he was coincidentally 99 years old. And then coincidentally, it was on the 99th day of 2001. And then coincidentally, it was April 9th. So if you go ahead and flip that sucker over, you'll see, and this is the post that I posted on Twitter, the other side up, is that, you see what it represents. And we know symbolism will be their downfall. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that real quick. That was yesterday's news. It struck out to me. And then I've got some local news here, actually, in my local newspaper. I'm going to go over with you. And this was insane. So I picked up my local newspaper. I generally don't read the local newspaper at all. And I saw basically what I look at now. And if I browse through anything quickly, I just see MK Ultra. I just see brainwashing. So this is one of the articles, and it goes into, for venues with a capacity of up to 1,500 people, the new rules will be as follows. In the orange tier, capacity would be limited to 15% or 200 people, and increased to 35% if all guests show proof of a negative coronavirus test or full vaccination against COVID-19. So we know where they're going with this, right? So again, look at the science, right? There's no science to that. So that was one of the articles. And then I went ahead and kind of sifted through the newspaper, and then came across this one, which was, conveniently below, and broke out my highlighter. I haven't done that in a while. And this one says, student-led masks on a rope helps people hang on to their masks. I guess there's the new, and you remember these things, they're like lanyards. So this is actually a news article, and these things are called MOAR. It's MOAR. And it's masks on a rope, helps people avoid losing their masks at school. This is how they're indoctrinating our kids, guys. So, and then the last one I saw, which was in this newspaper, was, something that we all know about. If you're watching this, you probably have followed 17. So 17 replacing Gibson and the insurrection. And then it goes into, is this really what it's come to? Labeling people as 17 believers simply because they want kids back in school. And then it goes on, it says, the term white supremacist has also been tossed about in relationship to this. And then it says 17, according to Wikipedia, you've heard this before, is a disproven and discredited American far-right conspiracy theory alleging that a secret cabal of Satan-worshiping cannibalistic pedophiles was running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotted against former US President Donald Trump while he was in office, commonly called a cult. Okay. All right. And there you go. So this was in a single newspaper. It was in with like 3 pages of each other. And then we'll go ahead and get into the topic. All right. So there was so this is my Facebook post, and this was July 13th. And I budget blocked it out because you know what? I need to have a little bit of privacy here. And this is my personal one. Again, very, very rarely go on it. But this is July 13th, 2020. And I said, they are manipulating you. And I put this graphic together. And the graphic was based upon this patent. And I don't know if you notice here, you'll see it got 1 like, and this is a recent screenshot. So it's been up there since July 13th. And it's only gotten 1 like. Here's the thing. If I saw this patent, I'd probably dig into it. And I even put the link to the patent here. And I'd be a little bit concerned. So it's nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors, right? And then it's got its patent. And then you've got your graphic. So what they call, actually, this is the drawing. This is actually, that's the term they use. So the interesting part is I filed a few patents before, nothing in relationship to this. So it was mostly for consumer products. So I'm quite familiar with that. And we can take a bigger look at this graphic here and this drawing. So this will be in the patent that we're going to be discussing. So this exists. It's about to expire, but when it expires, it means that it's open to the public for use. So meaning that you don't have to pay royalties on that patent itself. So let's get into it. So this is the patent, right? And it's nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. Basically what I'm looking at right now, okay? And this was, and if you go on to, and I'll put this in the links below. If you go on to Google Patents, you can pretty much find anything and everything. The USPTO is not the easiest of websites to kind of, sift through. So this inventor, and we're going to go through this too. His name is Hendrikus G. Luce. That's interesting, right? That last name. So the application was filed on 2001, in June of 2001. And then it was anticipated expiration, which is coming up pretty close, guys. This is the expiration that's in, just a couple months here. So let's get into the abstract. And the abstract, if you're not familiar with publications, the abstract is basically like a summary. So the abstract, let me blow this up a little bit more so you guys can see it. Psychological effects have been observed, and this is where it gets weird. Okay. So I'm sorry to stop you on this, but just think about when you read this, the application of this on your phone, on your computer, on your TV. All right. So psychological effects have been observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin with weak electromagnetic fields that are pulsed with certain frequencies near 1/2 hertz, or 2.4 hertz, such as to excite a sensory resonance. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, it was 2000, so I guess they called them tubes back then, but you have to use, certain terminology when you're filing patents. Many monitors and TV tubes, when displaying pulsed images, emit pulsed electromagnetic fields of sufficient amplitudes to cause such excitation. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on a nearby computer. That's where it gets weird, guys. You don't have to even be looking at the computer, by a nearby computer for the latter. The image pulsing may be embedded in the program material, or it may be overlaid by modulating a video stream. So basically what they could do is, if, and that's in reference to, if you have a video that's streaming, the provider, or the cable provider, or let's say Netflix or whatever, I'm not saying they do it, I'm just saying, giving you a for instance, they could actually overlay this particular application onto anything they want. Okay. And that's what that's saying here. So the image displayed on a computer monitor. Okay, sorry, let's go back. For the latter, the image pulsing may be embedded in the program material, or it may be overlaid by modulating a video stream, either as an RF signal or as a video signal. Okay. The image displayed on a computer monitor may be pulsed effectively by a simple computer program. And they go into that computer program actually is a default program on most computers, from what I understand, which is like your graphics card. So for certain monitors, pulsed electromagnification fields capable of exciting sensory resonances in nearby subjects may be generated even as the displayed images are pulsed with subliminal intensity. All right. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get into the images on this. So as you'll notice, and I'm probably gonna have to go out here. So these are called drawings, and this is the association, and all these markers here that are numbers are associated with claims. Okay. So each of these claims has a specific, is a specific component of a patent. So as you'll notice here, you've got the picture of, I forgot the name of it, but you guys who probably know, there's a name for this person, and it's basically like somebody who's overly willing to have a to be brainwashed. It's in like the gamer area. I forgot the name. But that being said, so yeah, you've got this graphic here, and then it literally goes into all of these other, talks about a computer, right? Talks about TV. And then this goes into the frequencies. All right. So I might do a part 2 to this to really dive into the frequencies, but this is it. You know, this is what it talks about. And then it talks about the internet. Okay. So it basically covers all the bases here. So, and then it goes into the electric field pulse amplitude. Okay. So, all right, let me go down this rabbit hole with you guys. So that was the patent. All right. So let's get into the inventor. So the inventor is this gentleman called Henry G. Luce. He's got other inventions. We'll go over them soon. So he was born in 1925. He died in January 29th, 2017. He was the Dutch-born American research physicist and inventor who, beginning in 1999, patented a series of technologies relating to the manipulation of the human nervous system by electromagnetic means. Having formerly worked in industrial and defense research related to plasma technologies. Industrial and defense. What's the industrial and defense? The industrial complex, right? So the selected patents here, and this goes through those, and we'll go over these too. So this is the one that we're discussing here, right? So nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic monitors. So the other one is remote magnetic manipulation of nervous systems. And then the other one is manipulation of nervous systems by electric fields. Okay. So it goes into this gentleman, and it goes through his, scientific papers. And the interesting part, so he goes through in 1959, this guy's always kind of worked on anything that has to do with energy fields, acceleration, plasma, dynamics, all of this kind of stuff. Even it says here he researched some of Einstein's field equations. Okay. So, and then we got to dive in deeper to this gentleman, right? We got to see what's up, what's behind the curtain. So this is where it gets interesting, guys. The man you've never heard of, but who may be messing with your head right now. Henricus G. Luce came to my attention earlier this year when I ran across a patent titled, the one that we're talking about now, okay, nervous system manipulation. He worked for Plasmadyne Corp. That doesn't sound nefarious. In 1961. And then he worked for Douglas Aircraft Advanced Research Department in 1967. Turns out Mr. Luce worked because he's past tense now for DARPA and has been working for the government since the 1960s. Okay. He's worked on lots of stuff ranging from neural nets and nervous system manipulation. And they go, he's been a busy bee. You know, he's got a few other ones here that weren't in the previous write-up that we saw. So it's interesting that, you know, Wikipedia will, or you know, the overview of another article will show you something, and then you got to dig deeper. So here's another one. Okay, this goes into the mysterious Hendrikus Luce and his nervous system manipulation devices. So I'll put this in the links below, but it's basically very similar to what we just read. All right, guys, this goes into his subliminal acoustic manipulation of nervous systems patent. And I'll quickly read the abstract for you. In human subjects, sensory resonances can be excited by subliminal atmospheric acoustic pulses that are tuned to the resonance frequency. The 1/2 hertz sensory resonance affects the autonomic nervous system and may cause relaxation, drowsiness, or sexual excitement. Interesting, right? Depending on the previous acoustic frequency near 1/2 hertz used. It's just interesting. Relaxation, drowsiness, or sexual excitement. All right. The effects of the 2.5 hertz resonance include slowing of a certain cortical processes, sleeplessness, and disorientation. For these effects to occur, the acoustic intensity must lie in a certain deeply subliminal range. Deeply subliminal means you don't, folks, if you don't know what subliminal means, look it up. But that basically means without your knowledge. It's working with your, so suitable apparatus consists of a portable battery-powered source of weak sub-audio acoustic radiation. The method and apparatus can be used by the general public as an aid to relaxation, sleep, or sexual arousal, and clinically for the control and perhaps treatment of insomnia, tremors, epileptic seizures, and anxiety disorders. This is further application has a non-lethal weapon that can be used in law enforcement standoff situations for causing drowsiness and disorientation in subjects. We've heard about that before. It is then preferable to use venting acoustic monopoles in the form of a device that inhales and exhales air with sub-audio frequency. Okay, so that's that one. And then we can go into this one. So this is the remote magnetic manipulation of nervous systems patent. Okay, and then we'll go in the abstract real quick. The abstract: apparatus and method for remote manipulation of nervous systems by the magnetic dipole field of a rotating bar magnet. Okay, reliance on modulation of spontaneous spiking patterns of sensory nerve receptors and exploitation of resonance mechanisms of certain neural circuits allows the use of very weak magnetic fields. So you can barely feel them subliminal. This, together with the large magnetic moments that can be obtained with a permanent bar magnet, makes it possible to effectively manipulate the nervous system of a subject over a distance of several hundred meters using a small portable battery-powered device. Makes it possible to effectively manipulate the nervous system of a subject over the distance of several hundred meters using a small portable battery-powered device. This method, or the method, can be used in law enforcement for standoff situations. I'm sure that's what it's for. All right, so you see where this is going, guys. All right. So I wanted to get into some of the left-leaning articles about how this can affect you, right? So I didn't want to just go, down the rabbit hole far to the right. I wanted to show you that there are a ton of scientific studies that are done with the frequencies. Okay. And this can get into the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the G. Okay. So can't say that on the YouTubes, and we know why. So, could certain frequencies of electromagnetic waves or radiation interfere with brain function? And then it basically says definitely. Radiation is energy, and research findings provide at least some information concerning how specific types may influence biological tissue, including that of the brain. Okay. So it just goes into that. I'll put this in the link below. Another one, which is interesting, is that if you look at the FCC, and I'm not sure if you guys know this, but you basically can't buy a jammer anywhere because they've made it illegal. I mean, you can, but it's illegal to actually produce these and sell them apparently. So, and their excuse is that it'll jam 911 and other emergency things. But the interesting part is you can't jam the signals that they're bombarding you with because they've basically made it illegal to buy these things or make them. So I thought that was interesting. And then this goes into pulse frequency, and it goes into a little bit more of the technologies. It's another article, another scientific article that I'll put in the links below. And then here's another one too. So when we go to the next thing we go to is the inventor, Hendrikus G. Luce. His last project was a company called, and this is where it's going to blow your mind. Okay. Q-Wave. His last company he made, and now still exists in Fallbrook, California, is called Q-Wave. All right. So Q-Wave Technology Partners focused on innovation through the use of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and agile development practices. Okay. So remember Q-Wave. This website doesn't go any deeper than that. It's just called Q-Wave, guys. So it's interesting that letter that we know about, and his last company was called that. So was he a black hat and went to the white hats? It would line up with the date, right? They said he passed away in 2017. He created this in around that same time, in 2016, 2017, I think. And it's just an interesting coincidence. It's called Q-Wave. So that's going to do it on that topic for right now. I'm probably going to do a part 2. I wanted to let you guys marinate on that information. It's a lot. I actually had 2 more articles that I was going to show, but I want to keep this relatively short. But the other parts of this are interesting, and it connects to Philips Electronics. Okay. And you probably have heard of Philips before, right? I think they removed the electronics part off the back end of it now. But I do want to mention before I get going, and again, I'm going to put all these links in the below, was that I had mentioned that I wanted to find out, and I'm still going to look, I'm still going to pray and see if I can get some information about it, is why are there so many people that are asleep? Now, again, there's MK Ultra, and then there's above that, and then there's the Mockingbird Media, and then I think there's another level. And are some of us affected by this more than others? Are some of us affected by these pulses more than others? And do some of us have just a general, like our DNA or our faith, our spirituality? Does that play a factor in us not being, subjected to or fall subject to these technologies, as much as another person who's still asleep? These are things that I like to question, bring up as a question and propose it to you. I know there's a lot of folks out here that are wondering whether or not, wondering why other folks are asleep or not. And I think David Rodriguez, he brought up the other day that, it was spiritual awareness. And I think that definitely has something to do with it. But I also think, I definitely think, I think that's a good portion of it, if not the entire portion of it. But I think there's also a mechanical background to that. And knowing what the DS does, and knowing that they are using technology against us, one would think that they would take advantage of those that haven't been spiritually aware enough to fight off this, or defend off this technology that we're being subjected to, which is, again, nervous system manipulation subliminally. All right. And the last thing I wanted to say is that I did take a digital break one time, and that was this past year, actually, before I got into this. And this was in February 2020. And I took a 3-week break completely of all devices. And I can get into more of the reason why I did that, but I did that. And it's interesting because after taking a complete 3-week break, I had not felt better than I had. The first week was tough. I was always reaching for my phone. I was always that I didn't allow to be there. I was always looking for, something to occupy my mind. It was as if I was addicted, which I probably was and probably am. And we all are addicted to our devices. And so I took a 3-week digital detox completely. And then when I got back, and when I was able to get my phone back and get everything else back, and completed my 3-week digital detox, I actually didn't want to go back on it for about 3 months until I got into this fight. I didn't want to go on Facebook. I didn't want to go on any of these platforms because honestly, I felt so good without them that I didn't want to feel that way again. And it was a nervous anxiety. It was that feeling you get if you ever, come down off of a long night of drinking, and you've got that, the nervous feeling or the anxiety after. It's very similar to that. And but anyways, I wanted to end with that. And I think that has absolutely something to do with the subject that we just talked about. So I'll leave you guys there. I'm going to do a part 2 to this. Most likely it's going to dive into the Philips section of that, Philips Electronics, which is now Philips. And there's some interesting stuff associated with that. And I can get farther into a lot of these topics. I just want to give you guys the information so then you can start doing that digging on your own and see what you come up with. And if you've got any information that I haven't gone over today, maybe you can go ahead and put that in the comments below, and then we can discuss that on a later episode. But stay tuned again for next Wednesday, April 14th. I'm going to be having an interview with David Weiss, world-renowned flat earther. And it's going to be an amazing show, I'm sure. It's going to be an hour long. I'm going to upload that to YouTube, and then I'll hop in the chat with you guys and talk about the video together. So that's going to be between 7 and 8, more towards 8 o'clock next Wednesday, April 14th, 8 p.m. I'll see you on YouTube. You guys stay frosty.